So here we are in Fellowship of the Ring. Something I did not mention in the first video, I haven't started yet, is why, so if you look very carefully, these are dice rather than just little wooden blocks or something. And that's important because the number on the top of the die, and it would be kind of cool if these had little white specks on them or something, like dice often do, indicates information about the travel mode. So in the case of all of the evil player counters, they all start on the board as a 6. I know that's hard to see, and it's going to be kind of tough throughout. But a 6 means different things for different players, and this is most of the travel modes are listed. So a 2 for the Fellowship is sneak. The evil player can't sneak. 3, 4, 5, and 5 are foot, horse, boat, or ship. And then flying for the evil player, or for the Fellowship player, is a 6. Fellowship players can only fly during their own turn. They can't maintain flight because the eagles drop them off in one place. That's the only way they can fly. But the... Ooh, that's a nasty tobacco stain on my hand. The evil player uses a 2 for flying, and that's the only real difference there. The least used sort of value is the 6. In the case of the Fellowship player, you really don't even have to mark it. In the case of the evil player, the 6s say, I can't even use this counter, so I don't want to flip it over. I don't really need to see what it is. Problem with that is, hey, I don't remember, is this a real one or not, you know? Oh, I revealed something. Alright, I'm going to start the Fellowship player turn. First thing is mobilization of characters. I can go quickly through the sequence of play. Mobilization of characters. Basically, there's some automatic mobilizations. The evil player also gets mobilizations on specific turns, but the Fellowship player gets to mobilize characters when characters go to where mobilizable characters are. Some characters, though, have restrictions, like Glorfindel can't leave the Rivendell general area. After that, we get to change transport mode, and that may require an acquisition roll. I'm in sneak mode with all my counters because they all have to be, and that's hard to see, they all have to be hobbits, and when a group of hobbits is together, they're in sneak mode. So I don't want to reveal, well, I can't actually do anything else. Some things are not allowed, so for example, hobbits alone, they need at least as many bigger things. Hobbits and dwarves can't ride horses alone. They need someone to help them. Restrictions to carrying, which can reduce your movement. There's the Greyhaven's ship, which is a better ship than most boats. The Eagles, which you can pick up. Then depending on where you are, you can either heal or end up getting injured through disease, which is like ringwraith wounds and such. You get damage for being in cold areas if you're not properly protected. And then we go to a similar stage for the enemy player, or evil player, Sauron. One of the things he can do is if he knows that a certain counter is a rumor, he can just tell the Fellowship player, get that off the map. That's bullshit. And the Fellowship player looks, and if it's not a rumor, the evil player loses his turn. So the evil player can do this as many times as he likes, but there's a risk to it. Of course, right now, there are 8 counters, only maximum of 2 of which are real at this point. Of course, they could split through movement or whatever, so that could change things a little bit. Mobilization of minions, this is similar. The thing is, for the Sauron or evil player, he generally can only mobilize things on a per turn basis, I believe. I don't think he has a way to do it otherwise. I'll look to see if there is. Off-board minions, these can also be mobilized and then moved. Activating search areas, the evil player also gets a chance to declare certain areas to be more active for searching. And for the most part, he can activate 3 areas, but he can rescind one of those areas. And by an area, I mean a hex, really. There are some places where areas are only a half hex. For example, the Old Forest is split into 2 halves. Just to accommodate terrain. Minas Tirith is similar, and I think Rivendell is the other one that's like that. So, the evil player can specify locations and say, I want search rolls to be more active there, and guarantee that. On the other hand, he can improve his chances of searching a specific area. He could also say, I just want to search one type of area, which is really one symbol everywhere on the board. So for example, red triangles everywhere on the board. They're a specific type of wild. They could just be searched. That's a special kind of activation which only lasts during the evil player turn. Basically, he gets one chance to search with them. It doesn't restrict movement for the Fellowship player. By placing search markers in front of a Fellowship player, the evil player can provide barriers that the Fellowship player doesn't particularly wish to travel through. At the beginning of the game, though, there aren't any such barriers. There's just whatever shows up randomly on the Fellowship turn, which I don't think I noted. That's back here somewhere. During the status phase, I think. Nope, during the search phase. So there's a chance that after the Fellowship player moves, he could just be found in one specific, and again, that goes by type of area, just like the evil player is able to assign a certain type. And after that, after turn 5, the evil player can change the weather and make it worse. This is particularly helpful in terms of preventing the Fellowship player from cutting across the mountains, because the passes become pretty much impenetrable in bad weather. There's a chart crossing certain types of terrain, and by the way, mountains you cannot cross. There may be cards that allow you a chance of doing so. There's cards that allow you to put a pass into play. Somewhere or another I have it. There's a terrain effects table here, and this gives a number to cross the terrain. And an A says automatic, and an A says not allowed. The Sauron player can only enable a certain number of active units per turn. He's allowed to activate, I believe, all his black units, but he's only got a limited number, I think 1 red unit? Yeah, 1 Guardian and a Guardian Rumor, or all of Saruman if he's on the board, or a Fell Beast, or a stack of them, in order to try to bring those for the Nazgul, I guess. Then he's allowed to change transport mode also. He can put Nazgul and say, look, I want them to go home, and try to get mounts, the flying mounts. And then he gets his healing, and he might have some way to get hurt. And I think that's it. Alright. Well, there's a lot of stuff I should have put in the intro one, but, you know, life isn't perfect. So on movement, the Fellowship spread out. He tried to move all his pieces, even right into where the evil player has some units, and all around there. Oh, I haven't moved Gandalf yet. I gotta figure out where he's going. But I had to make rolls to cross the river, and this one's free because there's a ferry there that's unblocked. But here, I didn't want to go over that bridge where the Nazgul is, because that's automatically blocked. So I tried to cross the river, and I didn't roll successfully. The roll for crossing a river is a 5, and I didn't make it. So I'm stuck still in the Shire. The others made it across. They rolled a 5 or less. Maybe it's less than a 5, I'm not sure. I think it's a 5 or less. I've still got to move my Gandalf units. I haven't figured out what to do with them yet. They're flying, but they can only go 2 spaces. I don't know what to do with them. I'll think. Alright. Okay, so I rolled a 7 for the area activity table, and that means two things. Border 2 areas and wild 2 areas, which is triangles. So border 2 and wild 2. And I'm going to put little search markers anywhere of interest that's of that type. And that includes here, 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 here. I probably won't go into this detail. That's an H. What's an H in a haven? There's a border 2. And he's not in either of those. I moved my Gandalf out. Okay. So those are the only places I'll roll. And I'll make some rolls and see whether or not we had a successful search in any of them. So let's take the first search I did, which is on this location. And I rolled a 4, cross-referenced with the border type. -1, because they're in sneak mode, is an S4. And S4 means that I spotted the group. It also means I get to look at some of the cards to reveal the race. It doesn't allow me to attack or anything like that, but it does let me know what's there. Now, what's there can only be hobbits, so that's not going to be any big shock at this point. Let's see what's actually there. It's nothing. So that goes over into the fellowship pile. I'll roll the rest of them and see if they find anything of interest. A couple more stacks were spotted and removed. They were just rumors. One here, and I think the one, was there one there? I don't remember where the other one is. We had this one. Yeah, there was one up there. I don't know. Anyway, the only ones that were spotted were rumors. One of the other spots was an S5, which again would have shown a lot. Something got an E, which would allow an encounter, which would be a fight with something in the space. If there's nothing in the space that the evil player controls, some monsters or something would show up to fight, which always means there's some challenge from nastiness, no matter where you go. So I've started the evil player turn, and he's done two things. He's activated 3 of his minion stacks. This one, this one, and this one. They're all in horse mode. They're Nazgul, supposedly, so that would be reasonable. I've also set my search areas, and I've chosen 3 areas, somewhat at random. These 2 were guaranteed. I couldn't decide between these 2. The Old Forest is hard to see, so I left it alone. It's the most likely place, and the historical one. But I'm really interested in finding those hobbits and killing them. If I can kill them early, hey, it's an easy win. I moved Nazgul into each of the areas that I'm searching in. Supposed Nazgul, we don't know yet. This guy had to roll because he crossed a ford. Okay, something happened. So out of those search areas, 2 failed, but the important one succeeded. And it's important, not just because I know there's a group there now, but I rolled a 7, which is a 6, S7. That means they have to reveal up to 7 of the cards there. But they're not. So 5 hobbits are there, but there's also 4 random cards there. Those random cards, 2 of them can be hobbits, and I'll put 2 humans in to help. So let me roll off. Well, basically I know there's a decent number of hobbits there, but I don't know how many. So let's see what we get. 5 are those hobbits, 6, 7. So let's see, 1, 2, so I've got 6 and 7, 3 and 9, those numbers were rolled already, 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7. Yeah, I know, I should limit it. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9, yeah. So I've found, what, like 5 hobbits. I know that there's only 2 spare hobbits in the deck, so because of what happened, I absolutely know that I've got a decent sized group. I want to attack, but I can't. I don't have an attack option here. Well, that sucks. That's actually the end of the turn, and I'm going to load this up for you, but I want to note one thing you'll see at the beginning of next turn. This group, because it's a revealed group, is allowed to split 3 rumors off of it. Now, the evil player may want to challenge all of these, but what if one of them has fatty in it? It's not worth trying to get rid of him. It's not worth expending his turn. He knows what he wants to go after. He wants to go after whatever's coming out of here. He's got to decide how he's going to do that, though. I don't believe he's allowed to enter the havens. I have to check that rule. All right. So that is the end of the first turn. And next turn, we only get 2 more EP mobilization. And I'll load this one up. Hopefully you're getting an idea of what's going on. I think it looks very, very bad for the Fellowship at this point, but we'll see. If he knows that they're going by sea, ooh, that's scary. But he can't know that. They're going to split up. They may decide that path is broken and they have to go in other directions. We'll see what happens.